Welcome back to Vertigo, a House of Bob Lancer campaign set in the distant Long Rim.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm playing Rusk Tillsen, callsign Vestige, the over-the-hill super soldier.
I'm Shaun, and I'm playing Petrakles, callsign Exodus, the adolescent war priest of Ares.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Matt Ryoska, callsign P.C.B, the ever-loyal union-loving droid.
Hi, I'm Shubert. I'll be playing Val, callsign Valkyrie, a techno-Viking monster hunter.
And I'm Jake, your game master. If you'd like to support the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, stop by our Patreon, or tell your friends about us. Roll on. So we jump ahead a bit. Some time has passed since the conclusion of your mission at the Secom Armory there, and you guys are back on Sigil 1 Rotunda. And you're all crammed into the tiny Union office on the station. Jeffrey Slips, the cadet that took you on a tour at the start of the mission, is here, and he's got a very kind of nervous, dour energy at the moment. Hasn't said much more than 2 words to you guys since you've returned. But also in the room is a refurbished Septima 7G. Compared to, say, Matt, she looks a lot more kind of human, right? Like, you know, she's got the synth skin, whatever you want to call it. Isn't quite as, like, mechanical in speech or movement as Matt is. Almost passes human, you would say. Unless you look pretty closely. You guys are just kind of debriefing on the results of your extremely successful mission. We've joined this mid-conversation, and Septima is continuing to say that I have informed Cradle about the loss of Vic Rickards. It is an extreme setback for the outreach program. Vic has been building relationships with the people here for years. It will not be easy to fill his shoes. Which is why Union has agreed to my request to flash clone his latest genetic backup.
So it will be easy.
Well, not so easy.
That sounds expensive.
His last backup is many years old. It's not often that he would have been able to travel back to the cradle. And since we're unable to recover his body, it's the best we've got. Even then, it'll take several years for the clone to be developed sufficiently enough to return, plus travel time. So we're on our own for a while. In the meantime, we must carry on where he left off and continue the work of the Long Rim Outreach Program. Since you've been gone, the labor dispute Vic was negotiating between the Shining Adel and its workers is teetering on the edge of all-out conflict, spurred on by the Ungratefuls. The Harrison Armory is moving more and more troops into the Boundary Garden, and piracy from the Enterprises is at an all-time high. She lets out an overly dramatic sigh, betraying a little bit her unhuman nature. Without the administrator, it is my unfortunate duty to inform you that your team is currently the highest-ranking Union members in the Rim.
I don't know. That sounds about right to me.
Communication to and from Union space takes too long, and therefore, with my assistance, it will be up to you to decide how the Union presence will proceed here in the Rim, which missions to take on, which factions to work with, and how best to proceed. For now, take some time to recuperate and repair your mechs. I've been authorized to offer you new printing licenses as well. I've forwarded you the catalog. And when you're ready, meet me back here. We have a lot to discuss. And with that, she sits behind the desk here in the room and pulls up a computer terminal and starts typing away, fairly oblivious to your guys' continued presence here.
I guess I just leave. Somewhat dejected, I guess. I was hoping for maybe
Do you look back twice before you leave the room?
Yeah, I'm like, is she going to give me a new star or something? Like I want something on my lapel.
Yeah, but you got access to new licenses, which will increase what you can requisition and what you can print.
That's fair. When it comes down to it, that's what Rusk is looking for.
All he wanted was to level up.
Yeah, it's not like you get paid, right? It's Union provides for everything you need anyway, so it's not like there's a bounty or anything.
Just glory.
Yeah, I mean, she would answer questions if you had them, but otherwise she just continues her work. That's kind of it. Welcome back. Kind of the whole point of this mission was just to set up the rest of the potential campaign, which you guys are kind of alone here out on the Rim, the one Union presence here, and there's all these different factions to interact with and play with or don't play with, right? The idea would be for it to kind of be a bit sandboxy, and you'd get to choose who you want to work with and who you don't, and that would have consequences or benefits depending on who you do, right? that's about it. For the listener as well, we had planned on just doing this kind of one mission to get used to the game and try it out and see how it plays for radio and that kind of thing. So do let us know how you enjoyed it. If you want to keep listening to more, we'll figure it out. It might just be an occasional thing that we drop back into, or we might continue it as a full-fledged campaign later on. Depends on how everybody's feeling. In the meantime, we want to see a bit of the aftermath for our characters here, how they're taking the end of that mission, what they've got planned for next, any ideas they might have about, how to proceed here in the long rim. So if anybody has something ready to go, you can take it away.
The camera fades out on Rusk as he closes the door on Septimus Evanshee's office and opens back up on a cluster of asteroids drifting into view, blocking distant stars. It's the shining atoll again, and the wreckage of the manufacturing facility scars the surface of this particularly large asteroid. You can see that the huge blastoids have been burst outward by some massive amount of force. There's shards of debris from inside just forming the sort of arrow pointing at the breach where it's scattered all over the asteroid surface. And then silently, a white and red spacecraft drifts into the asteroid field, hovers its way through, stabilizers venting little puffs of energy into the vacuum, and it settles down on the landing pad, the same place where Vertigo Squad landed when they first began the mission. We can see a long-abandoned little Matt slumped over at the waist, his tiny rifle sitting cold. There are blast scars and pockmarks from the battle all over the place. From the ship, jets of atmosphere vent into the void and a ramp shifts to open. Two heavily armored forms slowly clunk down the ramps and across this former battlefield. Their spacesuits and armor are white with a red pauldron. They have heavy laser guns hanging from their suit harnesses, and atop their helmets blaze these bright red plasma torches like the crest on a Roman centurion's helmet. One holds a long rectangular white case. Radiation dosimeters on their chests crackle with mid-grade alarms. They confidently walk towards the blastoid breach. Inside, the facility is a total wreck. Not only battle damage and the force of the reactor meltdown, but time has been unkind to this place. It may have been a while since we last seen our heroes. Wall panels hang askew, piping and electrical ductwork is melted or crumbling, just drifting around in the vacuum. Two soldiers stomp onward, eventually coming to the site of Firebrand and Virtuoso's demise. There are melted and crushed mechs everywhere. The soldiers clamber over the bisected form of a cataphract, its electrified lance broken at the shaft. They finally come to the huge slagged form of Ares' right hand. The radiation dosimeters on both soldiers' suits have gone from a warning rattle to one long alarm fermata. With a plasma torch, one soldier begins to carve into Ares' right hand's hull. They pry back the plating, and the second soldier reaches into the hole and pulls out a broken bronze sword. The whistle of the dosimeter climbs an octave. They open the long white case and lower the sword into its protective lead coffin. As the latches clack shut, the dosimeters whine, all silent. Click. And it goes black.
What's the significance of the bronze sword?
You'll find out in season 2, Jake.
I guess so. There you go.
As I was coming up with Petrakles, my thought was that this sword was from Earth, from like Roman times.
Right.
From the Bronze Age. It has significance as an artifact from the time. Whether that has other powers, well, now it's super radioactive, so there's that.
Does poison damage, I think, now.
Yeah, it's obviously human-sized.
Does poison damage to anyone who wields it.
Yeah, the bearer will instantly vomit. Yeah.
Is that the same sword that you had in the bar fight in the first or second episode?
Yeah, his broken bronze sword that he fought Val with.
Cool.
There's no tin anymore in the future, so they can't make bronze. So
there you go. Worth its weight in bronze. Which is expensive now.
Not quite as valuable as an entire heirloom mech that had been around for centuries.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, they couldn't take that. Oh, I guess that was pretty wrecked.
And I don't think of interest to this. What would you call them? Spartanauts?
Spartanauts.
That's a cool name.
That's super cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Rusk and Matt both leave the room and we decide to go down and visit the Techno Witch, I believe is what we refer to as. Is that correct? A Techno Witch? I don't know.
If you want to call it that, yeah.
I don't know if we have a name.
No, you didn't have their name, but yeah, you're referring to when you guys first got on the station.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Matt and Rusk was there too.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of went shopping in the market there and you found this kind of old lady. Her shop was kind of somewhere, I think we said, in between an apothecary and a repair shop, right? So she had, bits of mech pieces and tech on the walls, but then also, in burning incense, weird dried mushrooms and stuff like that.
Sanctified bottles of WD-40.
Yeah, she was awesome.
So
Exactly,
Techno Witch sounds pretty accurate. I'm
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
I feel like Val would definitely join you guys for that if
Yeah, you can come on.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
This woman had also, was very deferential to Matt and, referred to him as an unshackled one and was insistent that you various human meatbags treat him well and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
which we did.
She also mentioned the name Horizon, which you since kind of encountered some Horizon Collective individuals during this mission. And, you know that this is this NHP rights activist group that operates throughout the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you guys start heading towards the market.
Mm-hmm.
Matt just dutifully follows. As is protocol, his memory was wiped when he stepped off the ship into the rotunda, but he's happy to serve his new Union crewmates however needed and follows them dutifully through rotunda, saying hello and for the Union to whoever they walk by.
You're used to following me, that's for sure.
That's all he's ever known for the last 4 hours that he's been alive. So he's on his whole life.
You're used to it as long as I have to go through my speech. Okay, Matt, you're gonna follow me.
You got it.
But we'll make our way to the Techno Witch.
Sounds good. So, yeah, you start heading towards, it was a quick fix, I believe is what it was called. Again, it was kind of off the main street of the market, or main corridor, I suppose, of the market. And you turn the corner kind of expecting to be met with the smells of machine oil and flowery incense, but instead you see an unfamiliar man minding a kiosk of bootleg hollow reels.
Hey, do you happen to know where that old lady went? She used to be in your booth here.
He is for a moment surprised, but then gives you a bit of a sad look and informs you that Martine passed away about a month ago. Life isn't easy on the station here, especially as you get older.
That's true. I was hoping to talk to her about something, but she's dead. This is an inconvenience.
I can see how that would be a problem.
Yeah.
He's looking the two of you up and down. His eyes settle on Matt for a little longer. All the three of you. Val is there as well. And he looks at Matt and says, hey, weird question. Is your name Matt?
Matt perks up and says, yes, for the Union.
He gets a really kind of slightly befuddled look, but then he says, hold on a sec. And he disappears into the kind of back of the kiosk for a moment before returning with a small box. And he says, after I bought this stall, I was clearing out Martine's old things, and I found this lockbox in the back room. I think this might belong to you. He opens it up, and inside is a small data drive with the name Matt scratched onto it.
I would like to intervene here and maybe grab that fairly quickly and try to hide it away. Not from these two, but from prying eyes. I'm worried that some security or something will notice potentially this data drive or something, but I try to sneak it away.
Sure. He's kind of holding it out towards Matt, and you grab it on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, do you react to that in any way?
No, humans and other organic people in the Union do all sorts of stuff for droids, so that seems normal.
Sure.
Were you and Martine close at all?
I didn't know her. I've been trying to get a stall for a while, and when this one became available, I picked it up.
All right. If that's the case, I think we'll leave this guy to his whatever he's doing, whatever he's selling. I think we need to get somewhere private. So maybe we can just head back to our quarters or something. Just for now. I just want to plug in this drive and see what we're looking at here.
Sure. You do that. Your quarters were kind of attached to the union office, so you walk by Septima again. They're still working away, and you've got a little terminal in the quarters beside the bunk beds there.
I think I'm just going to plug it into Matt.
All right.
I have my suspicions on what it is, and I'm just gonna pop it right in. Matt, you put this in.
Matt says, yes, anything for the Union, and plugs in this drive. So there's a lot of, lights and stuff on these droids, and like a lot of technology, they've got sort of a faint glow. They've got lights behind the eyes. They've got little lines of circuitry all over, but all of it goes completely dark, and he goes completely still. And then you can see a tiny, tiny little light, like a BIOS light that looks deep in the back of his skull. And he's perfectly still and perfectly silent. And you just see this BIOS light blinking periodically. And the drive that has been plugged into him also has a light that's blinking in unison.
Well, that's not what I hoped it was.
What were you hoping it was?
I've known Matt a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping this may be a previous version of him that I once knew. One that I used to be good friends with.
How would Marthine have that?
I don't know. She was a witchy lady. She seemed to know stuff.
All right, fair enough.
I'm not good with computers. What else could it be?
I hear you. I mean, computers, magic, they're pretty hard to distinguish sometimes, so.
I may have recklessly dove in hoping I'd see my old friend, but let's see. And Rusk starts tapping on Matt. You in there, Matt?
What pattern do you tap on him with?
Tap, 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 tap.
The blinking stops and then blinks back at you in the same pattern.
He seems to have turned into a Simon Says. Okay. So I will say, Matt, blink twice for yes, once for no.
It blinks twice. The drive and the light in the back of his eyes.
Huh. Do you want me to remove the drive?
It blinks once for no.
Are you rebooting?
No blink.
Seem to have really messed up his communication skills.
Yeah.
Before he could talk in full sentences,
Matt?
usually.
Do you still believe in the Union?
Oh, good question.
No blink.
Well, that's uncharacteristic.
And then a flurry of blinking.
We didn't define what that means.
While Rusk and Val are discussing what this blinking might mean or what's going on with Matt, internally, Matt is very lucid and experiencing some sort of a weird, it's almost like a flashback or a trip or a recovery mode of some sort.
So like the techno world episodes of Gargoyles?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
I do not remember those.
His whole consciousness is filled with flashing lights and the blasting of music and the taste of raspberries. Then suddenly flashes of scenes, flashes of machinery, and flashes of people, and flashes of combat, and flashes of circuitry, and flashes of flesh. The blinking stops. The lights on Matt power back up. He looks at the two of you and says,
For the collective, death to the Union.
Oh.
Somewhere on the station, in the lower habitation levels, there's a small kind of communal worship area. There's little shrines to the various religions and faiths in the galaxy here. In one corner, there's actually a small altar to Ares that Petrakles had set up to do some, pre-battle rituals and whatnot before being sent off on the mission. One of the altars here is a shrine to Christ the Buddha, another ancient Earth religion with a small smattering of followers throughout the galaxy. But we see actually that someone has defaced this statue with vibrant green paint that is scrawled the words, "Find Ra before they find you." And we also see somebody sitting cross-legged in front of the statue, reading from a time-worn, leather-bound book. And it's Dibs, the nihilistic mercenary you encountered at the SETCOM base.
Oh.
Meanwhile, back at the hangar of the SETCOM base, it is perfectly quiet, lit only by a small sliver of starlight coming through the half-opened hangar door. Some small crates and pieces of loading equipment float about. And we see here the Horizon ship, the Edmund Fitzgerald II. The window is scratched and dirty, but we can see the empty cockpit inside, before suddenly a single light on the dash begins to turn on. And then another, and then two more as the ship begins to power up. The screens start to scroll through thousands of lines of code with a faint white glow, and the joysticks and levers that operate the ship begin to move on their own as the engines ignite and the ship silently glides out of the hangar.
Ah, shit.
I'm sorry, guys. I should have left the sword there.
We've got lots of little plot hooks to explore. Should we come back to this later on? Mm-hmm. Again, definitely let us know what you liked, what you didn't, what you'd like to see in the future. I think the group here would definitely like to continue. Currently, it's not feasible just due to scheduling and timing and that kind of thing, but it might be something we come back to at some point. Mm-hmm. Again, it may take a slightly different form in that maybe we only do it little episodic ones here or there, or pop in and out, that kind of thing. But I think we really enjoyed playing it, and we got all these little plot hooks to explore now. So yeah, we've already got a couple games planned. Coming up next is Aliens. Shaun, you're running that, right? Do you want to say anything about it?
That's me. Yeah, we are playing the Aliens RPG from Free League Publishing. We're running through the starter kit adventure. So you kind of, if you're interested in checking it out, once you've heard us play, the starter kit is a great and accessible way to get into the game. It's full of horror and gore and tension. I have to change my shirt after we finish playing every session because I have sweat bullets through it, and I'm running the game, and I don't even imagine the heart rates of the players because it's actually really crazy, really intense. I hope you guys are excited to check it out.
Cool. I'm looking forward to hearing that one as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, then that's it. Thank you for listening to this episode of The House of Bob. If you're enjoying the show, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, tell your friends, and hit us up on social media or at The House of Bob on most platforms. If you'd like to support the show financially, consider checking out our Patreon. There's tons of bonus content on there, including monthly bonus recording, one-shots, RPG zines, monthly blog post, which right now we're doing a level of a mega dungeon each month throughout the year, and it'll all combine into one big dungeon. We've got different designers and writers working on it, and it's been really cool so far. So yeah, definitely check it out. And a huge thanks to all of our current patrons. You're awesome people, and frankly, we couldn't do it without you. Artwork for this episode was by Jake at Javix. The audio production was by Alex, Astronomic Audio. And the music was by Duke Albert and John Julius, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution. Huge thanks to the Lancer community and Pilot.net for being one of the most welcoming and helpful RPG communities I've ever encountered. And thanks again to you, the listener, to our patrons, and to the lovely players that joined me here today for this campaign. Thanks again. Have a great day. Roll on.
Get up in your mech and lance it on.
I don't know about that one. I think me and Alex want to go last, potentially.
Blowing up my last spot.
We call dibs.
Well, in that case,
you could all go last.
Petrakles will go first. Since he died.
This will be short. I don't want to follow that up.
You should have let me go last.
Really? Okay, Alex, you're going to have to do some editing.
We'll figure it out.
Death to the Union.
Oh.
Septima in the other room's like, wait, what was that?
Turn on music real loud.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Great campaign. Really had fun.
This was super fun.
It feels funny to call it a campaign when it was only one mission, but it took so long.
16 episodes.
Hey, took us 16 episodes.
We can turn any one shot into a full campaign.
Yeah.